Thank you so much for being here with us on this fine Thursday. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. In today's show, you can expect to learn more about the TR4 disease that is a threat to our bananas. Plus, we learn about the government's initiative to distribute 10,000 polyethylene water tanks to needy households in this financial year. More coming up after this.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, May 4, 2023. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will be adopting a life-stage approach to health promotion and prevention as it seeks to address the reality of too many Jamaicans dying young. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement during his contribution to the 2023-2024 sectoral debate in Parliament yesterday. According to findings analyzed through the ministry's surveillance unit, the probability of premature death for Jamaicans aged 30 to 70 years from cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, and chronic respiratory disease increased from 17% in 2009 to 21% in 2020. Diabetes, stroke, hypertension, and cancers are among the leading causes of death in Jamaica. Dr. Tufton has signaled the ministry's intent to bolster its prevention efforts through the Know Your Numbers campaign.
Through the various stages of growth and development, the health system must facilitate persons making informed choices about their health.
The Know Your Numbers campaign is targeting 500,000 health screening tests to be carried out this year.
In addition to clinics and health centers, we'll be taking screening, as I said, to the community through our mobile units. We're going to be pushing partnerships with the faith-based community. We're going to be taking screening to corporate Jamaica. We're offering $1 million to every member of parliament to do at least 2 health screening exercises during the course of this year, Madam Speaker. But we're going to do more on the Know Your Numbers campaign. Madam Speaker, I want to introduce a discount card.
Love it.
Discount card that will be introduced, courtesy of the NHF, which will incentivize persons who do screening. You do a health check, you're going to get points on this card and you can redeem it at your favorite supermarket, or should I say participating supermarket.
Meanwhile, thousands of Jamaicans are to benefit from 2 programs designed to improve oral health and offer expanded eye care services this fiscal year. 10,000 Jamaicans under 60 years old will be able to apply for replacement dentures under the Ministry of Health's latest Oral Health and Dentures Replacement Program, dubbed Second Chance Smiles. The service will be offered through more than 82 dental centers across the island.
Those who apply will get measured at these locations and orders made from manufactured dentures with a training session about how you take care of your teeth. We expect to spend some $60 million on this program over the next 18 to 24 months.
The ministry will also continue its school-based oral hygiene interventions while exploring partnerships with the private sector to promote good oral health. At the same time, Jamaicans are shortly to benefit from expanded eye care services with the return of the Cuban Eye Care Program. The program was curtailed during the COVID-19 pandemic, but will resume in August.
We have programmed some 2,000 persons to receive badly needed eye care surgery under this program. We're also working to re-engage at our local ophthalmology program, and we are planning, Madam Speaker, to go into the schools this year. So 50 schools this year will be targeted for that.
The health minister says other eye care initiatives will also be intensified. Government will be taking immediate and decisive steps to curtail the spate of attacks on cash management service providers across the country. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang made that declaration at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
We will take some necessary steps to ensure that this service that has such a direct impact on a wide cross-section of society will operate efficiently and safely.
Among the interventions is the appointment of a special multidisciplinary investigation team to be led by a superintendent of police. This team will focus on gangs targeting cash transfers and automated teller machines, ATMs. Other measures include strengthening stakeholder operational standards, to include specialized training and certification of security guards involved in cash transit management, as well as the use of hard-skin vehicles, panic buttons, and cameras on board. A more robust communication regime between private security companies and the Jamaica Constabulary Force will also be undertaken to better provide real-time support and response. Dr. Chang says government is also looking to expedite the requisite amendment to the Private Security Regulation Authority Act to allow for specialized training of guards. He says meetings have already been held with the JCF High Command and representatives from the private security industry to discuss the government's strategic and immediate response.
Later this week, I'll meet with a representative from the banking sector to look at additional measures that are required to strengthen cash management services across the island.
Meanwhile, the minister advised that intelligence confirms that the individuals so far apprehended for the attacks on cash management service personnel are considered to be foot soldiers in the gangs linked to these incidents. He says the security forces are seeking to track down and apprehend the ones who are masterminding the activities. In the meantime, the government is calling on Jamaicans to use secure channels to share information about wrongdoings with law enforcement officers. The call comes from Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who was addressing a handing over ceremony for 3 social houses at Goodwin Park Road in Campbelltown, Central Kingston recently.
Share the information, do it smartly. You know who you can trust and who you can't trust. And there are now many means by which you can share information with the police. The police is building its intelligence capacity, and the more information you give us, the better we will be able to respond.
Mr. Holness says significant improvements have been taking place in the Jamaica Constabulary Force to ensure that information shared remains confidential, pointing out that credible information has resulted in the increased recovery of illegal firearms. The Prime Minister is urging Jamaicans not to provide any safe harbor for criminals.
They were only able to survive because you gave them protection. You saw what was happening and you kept quiet. You saw what was happening and you didn't share any information. But now I think most Jamaicans realize that if you keep quiet about this thing, it is going to reach at your doorstep.
Persons may call 311 to report illegal activities. 2 new fish sanctuaries will be established this year, bringing the overall number to 20. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. gave that update in his contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament on Tuesday. He reiterates that fisheries support the livelihoods of over 200,000 Jamaicans while contributing more than $10 billion to the country's GDP and earning over $14 million in export revenue. To facilitate fish production, the minister says the Common External Tariff, CET, will be removed from fish and shrimp fields.
We have $450 million worth of investment now being spent for the creation of the climate-smart recirculating aquaculture system hatchery, with a potential to produce 5 million fry, not fries, fry, the little fish, by 2025, an increasing, no, not small fry, an increasing fish production up to 3,400 metric tons.
Government will also renovate the Borden facility in St. Thomas to enhance marine culture production and increase oyster and sea moss output. And finally, Minister with Responsibility for Information, Robert Morgan, is asserting that the Jamaican government remains committed to press freedom and providing access to information. Minister Morgan made that assertion at the post-cabinet media briefing on May 3, which was celebrated globally as World Press Freedom Day.
I think Jamaica has a positive history as it relates to press freedom. The mere fact that we sit here this morning where members of the media are able to ask questions unrestricted is a testament to the commitment that governments across administrations have made to press freedom.
Following a shift in the methodology used to measure press freedom across countries in the 21st World Press Freedom Index, Jamaica this year ranks 32nd out of 180 nations, down 20 places relative to 2022.
The current index is not the same as the previous index. The methodology has changed, and they've also said that you cannot use, or you must be careful in assessing this year's score and rank.
Minister Morgan says that despite the decline, the government continues to make significant strides to provide access to information. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The government is on a mission to improve the resources currently accessible to the Jamaican people. Since the start of the year, we have been faced with little to no rainfall, leading to a prolonged period of drought. Watch now as we learn how the government plans to improve the water storage capacity for some Jamaicans.
Hi and welcome to OPM Connect. I'm Naomi Francis. Today we take a closer look at the government's plan to distribute 50,000 water tanks across the island to address the drought situation. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in his 2023 budget presentation.
I'm happy to report that in the upcoming financial year, the government will make available 10,000 polyethylene water tanks. To needs-assessed households across Jamaica, starting with a focus on the areas most affected by the drought. Households on path, households recommended by MPs and assessed by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will qualify for the tanks according to the rules of the program. All the tanks issued will be placed on our national GIS database. This will give us valuable information about household storage capacity and how to plan for the delivery of water to those tanks.
So how will the government implement the program and how will the beneficiaries be selected? Let's hear from the Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator the Honourable Matthew Samuda, who will explain.
It's been clear to us that there are a number of communities which are affected disproportionately, either because of climate change and particular weather patterns or because they're not within the utility footprint of NWC or other established systems. One of the ways the government intends to build water resilience for these communities, for our citizens, as announced by the Prime Minister in his budget speech, is to distribute 50,000 black tanks over the next 3 budget cycles. This will be accompanied with the appropriate guttering. It will also include trained staff to come and install it at the household level to ensure those who are most affected and most in need get the help that they need in building their own personal water resilience. It will be an island-wide project, but starting with rural areas which are most affected and tend to be outside of the utility footprint and would need water harvesting most. But we're going to mirror the social housing project. The social housing project identifies those who are most in need, and there is a social inquiry. In this case, the inquiry will confirm A, that persons are on path. The persons would have been recommended by their MPs. They would be within areas most in need, either because of lowest rainfall nationally or because of being outside of the National Water Commission. There will be a parish committee that will do the evaluations of all of these recommendations to make sure they fit into each category. And once we have completed the social inquiry, we'll proceed to install. This is targeting 30 million gallons of additional off-site storage at the household level. That's a massive storage facility. It will help those most in need, and we know it will transform lives and ensure that people have the basic human right of water.
And as always, let's get your take on the matter.
Well, it's a very good idea for the government to do something like that, because we need tankers to store water. Best idea I come with it.
And nearly 3 months now, we don't get water. And if we get it right now, it would do good for us. It would help all different type of people, because water is life, you know. Without water, we don't have no life. Everything dying. You see it, so we're glad for it, you know. It would help out with me, you, each and every one, you know. So if they do that, it's a good privilege and a good start, you know.
People them going to need it, you know. Yeah, man. The government doing a good job.
Well,
Well, that would be a very good support to the community because there are times when for 1 week, 2 weeks, up to a month, we do not get any water. So that would be a great deal for us.
Thanks for your views, and thanks to Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda for stopping by and explaining the matter. And that's it for OPM Connect this week. For more information on what the government is doing to impact your life, please follow the OPM and the Prime Minister on all socials at Andrew Holness JM and on YouTube at Andrew Michael Holness/JM. And look out for OPM Connect on your favorite station and online. Catch you next week and stay safe.
The tropical race 4 disease, commonly referred to as TR4, is a disease that affects bananas and is caused by a fungus found in the soil. This plant disease has always been around, but it recently became an immediate threat as some of our neighboring Caribbean islands have unfortunately been faced with the challenge of battling it. This next feature will bring you more knowledge about TR4 should it get to Jamaica.
This elongated tropical fruit with softly pulpy flesh enclosed in a soft, usually yellow rind known as a banana, is one crop that can be harvested every week, which is a cash flow blessing. But what if this cash flow bonanza is in danger?
My name is Janet Cooney. I'm General Manager of the Banana Board, but I'm a trained plant pathologist. I want to highlight, taking this opportunity to highlight TR4 disease, which is a disease that is not yet here. And I must point out, even if it comes, you can eat a banana. It doesn't affect the fruit. I want to point that out. I don't want to hear when it comes, sorry, if it comes, people don't eat. It will never affect the fruit. However, it will affect the plant. It is capable of killing the trees. It is capable of spreading quickly. It is capable of wiping out our industry.
The TR4 disease is caused by a fungus that prevents the banana plant from receiving nutrition and water, causing it to wilt and eventually die.
We are concerned because the disease was always on the other side of the world. And then it jumped to South America in 2019, in Honduras. Then it jumped from there to Peru in 2021. And January 2023, it reached Venezuela. Venezuela is next to Trinidad. People move between Trinidad and Jamaica. It is also possible to spread to Guyana. People move between Guyana and Jamaica. So we have been on this alert for a while. I will tell you, the official ramp-up alert was from 2019. However, we in the Banana Board has been on the alert long before that.
TR4 disease can be devastating, as seen in countries such as Mozambique, which incurred debt of over $200 million per week to repair the damage it caused.
The minister has put in place a national task force from 2019. Banana Board heads that. We are co-hosts with, co-chairs with Plant Quarantine Division of the ministry. So we are attacking from all fronts. The national plan that we have is live and active.
We are guarding a very important industry and a very important crop. And we're going to also guard the positive trends that we've seen in terms of banana and plantain production.
When we tell persons to look and see, and we circulate all of these to the farmers so they can see the disease and match it. It can remain in the soil in a spore state that we call the chlamydia spore. We're not going to tell you. And it can stay in that form, not looking alive, for 30 years. And when you grow a banana beside it in that, and it goes through the roots, it can infect that plant. It can remain in a dried leaf. You see the leaves that you use to make the hats and mats and stuff? it can stay in that same form for 30 years. And when you put that in the soil beside a live banana plant, it can reside. We're also engaging the farmers to do some things, to prepare themselves. We're telling them to put a footbath at the beginning of your farm. If you can fence your farm, fence it. If you have vehicles that must drive on your farm, you need to put a vehicle bar. We also ask you, everybody who comes on your farm, write down their names. If we must backtrace, just like COVID, we have to backtrace in order to keep it curtailed. If you see anything that looks strange, call the banana board. Yellowing of the leaves is the most obvious sign, but I'm telling you, it can yellow for a number of things. Call us.
The safety of our children should always be of paramount importance. Watch now as we learn more about an initiative that seeks to protect them on the roads.
Extracurricular activities or clubs have always been a nicely added dynamic to our education system, structured on the idea of creating well-rounded portfolios, personal development, meeting more and diverse peers, and improving communication skills for students. Now, with innovation and a goal for creating more focused road users, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is revolutionizing the idea of school clubs. JSIF is creating a first of its kind for us here in Jamaica. JSIF has teamed up with the Ministry of Education and Youth, the Ministry of Transport's Road Safety Unit, municipal corporations, the Community Development Committee, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch to form the Safe Passage Safe Routes to School Road Safety Clubs. It's about to make traveling for children much safer through public education.
I'm pleased that this social network was formed as a follow-up to a prior Safe Passages project, which aims to provide a safe environment for students as they traverse specific roadways and thoroughfares in the vicinity of selected school campuses. It was designed, among other things, to provide a safe environment for students as they travel to and from school in certain targeted communities.
The Road Safety Club is an important software, I will call it. So beyond the hardware, the road safety clubs are designed to provide the sustainability to the infrastructure that has been provided. And it works by increasing the capacity of the teachers, parents, the awareness of the members of the JCF, and other persons who are in charge of keeping the roads safe.
The infrastructure that was provided under government's $155 million Integrated Community Development Safe Passages project contains several components that make it easier for children to navigate the streets.
The Safe Passages project contains several components, including the rehabilitation or construction of infrastructure such as sidewalks, bus bays, guardrails, painting of murals, installation of road safety signs, as well as the implementation of comprehensive public education and road safety program that will engage school staff, students, and residents from the beneficiary communities. And finally, to ensure that this is sustained, the formation of the road safety clubs, which we are launching in a very special and significant way today.
The clubs are being set up in an initial 7 primary and infant schools across the country, namely Augustown, Bickersteth, Greenwich Primary, Hope Valley Experimental, Roehampton, Salt Spring, and Treadlight. At the core is the support from those monitoring traffic on our roadways daily.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force have had a long history of working together with schools and children in terms of educating and of course providing information in terms of how best we can take care of ourselves, that especially the children that have to traverse the various roadways. This particular program, which is the Safe Passage Road Safety Club program that has been launched by JSIF, the JSIF lauds the effort because what we believe is that a kind of holistic approach to safety of our children and of course the entire commuting public, it will make a big difference.
But what really sparked the development of this new initiative?
In terms of global statistics, too many of our children are suffering from fatally or other injuries. Many of these injuries and deaths occur in low and middle income countries, such as Jamaica. Furthermore, a large proportion of this figure is made up of children, particularly child pedestrians. Statistics from the Road Safety Unit reveal that in 2021, 487 road fatalities, with 69% were the most vulnerable groups of road users: pedestrians, motorcyclists, and children.
And to create further context for the need for these clubs, with less than 3 months into the year,
a 12-year-old boy died on the nation's road. As a result, he died as a result of injuries he sustained when he was hit by a motorist along the roadway in his community. In his community of Lilliput in St. James. He was crossing the road and didn't make it home.
And as government seeks to do its part to protect children using the roadways.
And now that we have returned to full face-to-face teaching and learning in our schools, we will begin to see the impact of this project. I expect that this valuable initiative that has been undertaken by JSIP will continue to have a life-saving effect on residents of the beneficiary communities for years to come. Learning to be safe on the roads is a lifelong process.
We urge you to do your part to drive, ride, and walk with care while looking out for the nation's children.
This mayhem can only be stopped through behavioral change and discipline. We have a duty to our children to preserve them on the roads, at school, in our homes. This especially as we adjust to the return of full face-to-face classes.
Our time together has come to an end, but be sure to join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.